And welcome this Sunday to The Verdict. I'm Kent Myers, and yes, Mick Cornett will be back with us soon. I'm flying solo today, but we're having two really good guests that I want to tell you about in the opening segment. Mike Terry, who's the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board, and Jeremy Rich, the President of the Oklahoma Independent Petroleum Association, is going to be with us today to talk about some jobs initiatives and some conservation initiatives that these two fine organizations are engaging in. There are a lot of positive things going on in the oil fields nowadays, whereas in some other sectors of our economy it hasn't been quite so positive, with GM closing, job losses. But there are a lot of jobs out in the oil fields that need to be filled, and training available to take those who want them, train them and put them out in the oil field and put them back to work productively in ways that I think they would enjoy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a minute to visit with our guests. You're watching The Verdict.
At Chesapeake Energy, here's a few of our favorite Hornets. Alexis likes reading. Sam enjoys history. Alec loves math. Chesapeake is proud to support both the Oklahoma City NBA Hornets and the Young Hornets at Horace Mann Elementary, where over 150 Chesapeake employees mentor to children each week. The students gain a lot from the experience, but not as much as we do. Chesapeake Energy, committed to building a better Oklahoma.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
I'm John Walsh, and there's something new on the web I want your whole family to be a part of. It's called Take Charge from Cox Communications. This website has fun games to play in the Kids Zone and links to other cool websites like netsmarts.org. For parents, it's loaded with tips to help you and your kids use TV and the internet safely. Your whole family can take charge today with a little help from Cox Communications.
You need this one to get satellite HD. This one's your DVR. This one's for local channels. This one's...
What are we supposed to do with all this stuff?
Got you covered. Oh, by the way, that old satellite stuff makes a great end cable.
That doesn't look so bad, right, honey?
Don't live in satellite denial. Get the latest entertainment without the hassles from Cox, your friend in the digital age.
Welcome back to The Verdict. I'm Kent Myers, and as we indicated in the opening segment, we're going to be talking about some exciting initiatives going on in Oklahoma in the oil field, a place where there are a lot of jobs and a lot of paying positions that need to be filled, and we've got a couple of people here today that are going to tell us how we do that. On my left is Jeremy Rich. Jeremy is the president of the Oklahoma Independent Petroleum Association in Oklahoma City. He's a native Oklahoman. He's a graduate of Oklahoma State University in Ag Economics, magna cum laude, I might say, and I have to read that every time because I was not that. And I envy anybody that is. He's besides being president of president of OIPA, he's also in the land and cattle business. This is his first visit to The Verdict. Jeremy, glad to have you.
Thank you, Kent. Glad to be here.
On my right is a familiar face to you Verdict watchers. Mike Terry is the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board. Mike took his undergraduate degree in business from the University of Oklahoma. He's been a banker. He's been with the OERB as its first and only executive director since 1994. And this is his second visit to The Verdict. Mike, sure glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
In the opening segment, I talked a little bit about jobs and how the GM closing may have put a little bit of concern in our viewers' minds about are there jobs available for Oklahomans. I know, Jeremy, you've worked on a jobs program. Tell us about that.
Well, Kent, there's no doubt that a lot of Oklahomans are concerned these days with a number of facilities closing, GM obviously the most notable. And what we've tried to do over the last few months is let them know that there are tremendous opportunities in the oil and gas business. Wonderful opportunities all across the state, in the rural part of the state, within driving distance of Oklahoma City. They're just tremendous opportunities. But the problem is, too often we don't inform potential workers in this state of those long-term opportunities that exist. And so the OIPA instituted a jobs initiative a few months ago, actually kicked off in October, to put together a website to inform the public of the opportunities in the oil and gas business. Thankfully, with some partners, the OERB being the most notable, we've undergone an advertising campaign to really get the word out about the opportunities that exist. We've got a number of partners in the industry who have come on board, listed their jobs on the website, which is oilfieldjobs.ok.com. Over 700 jobs are currently listed on the website, and we just encourage people to go to the website, look for opportunities that may be either close to home or that are around the state. If they don't mind moving around and being a bit mobile, there are just tremendous opportunities, and those are anyone can see them on the website. There's a lot of contact information where people can, potential employees can contact companies directly and inquire into opportunities really all across the state.
Well, how did you get the word out? This is a great idea. How did you get the word out to the people who have the jobs to get their agreement that they'll put their job on the website?
Really, that was probably the most visionary part of this program. The former president of OIPA put together about 30 advisors who came together, formed a committee, and really took this program from the ground up, decided what they needed, what the best method to get the information out to the public would be. And so really there was a lot of input and buy-in from the companies who need workers from the origination. And I think that's really a part of the success.
Just today, if one would get on the website, and I'm being a little vague about when, but just if you got on the website, how many jobs would be there available to see?
It's approximately 700 jobs that are currently listed that will hopefully be filled in the very near future. It changes every day. One of the wonderful parts about the initiative is that we see more employers coming on board every day, and so we see more opportunities and more jobs listed. And thankfully, we see some of them coming off the website because we're actually finding some workers and putting them into productive employment. So it's a little bit dynamic. It changes a little bit every day, but I understand today, if you got on the website, you'd find almost 700 different employment opportunities.
Now, let me ask you about wages that would be paid for some of these jobs. Can you kind of give us a range of what is available?
Oilfield jobs are going to have a significant range in starting pay, but we understand most of the jobs will range from between $30,000 and $60,000 in compensation the first year. The Commerce Department recently announced that their average salary for the petroleum industry was $69,000 a year, well over twice that of the average Oklahoman's yearly compensation. So tremendous opportunity in the oil patch.
What about the Oklahoman who has never worked in the oil patch, doesn't actually know how to find the oil patch, and needs a job? Is there training available?
There's no doubt that companies are looking for experienced workers. Yeah. No getting around the fact that they would love to find experienced workers. But in so many instances, they're simply not available. They're just simply not enough experienced workers. The average age in the oil patch today is 54 years old. Average age of a worker is 54 years old. So a lot of the experienced workers have left the business or are going to in the next few years. So yes, there's training available. We're partnering with one of the technology centers in Woodward, High Plains Technology Center, which is providing a tremendous amount of training. Over 3,000 new workers were trained last year in 2005 at the facility in Woodward. We're working on other opportunities for training, and some employers are doing on-the-job training. So yes, to answer your question, there are tremendous opportunities for unskilled and untrained labor. However, in many cases, it's more difficult for an employer because you have to deal with either getting those workers trained or the problems that come along with untrained and unskilled labor. And safety and those kinds of things are more and more of a concern in this industry today.
One of the things that I'd like to add is one thing that's really made this work is, of course, advertising. You know, if you want to get a message out to the public, mass media is the way to do that. And that's one way that the OERB found that they could partner with OIPA and help. So we initiated a comprehensive campaign, advertising campaign, utilizing all the media. And we even spread that into other states, Texas, Arkansas, and Kansas, and so forth. And I understand that we have had a good number of applications from people outside of our state interested in what's going on in Oklahoma. So I think that's when you put all that together, it's made a difference, and it's really created some great jobs for some people, not only in Oklahoma but outside of Oklahoma that have come to our state.
Well, as our viewers will see when we're not taking a break right this minute, but we will pretty soon. When we get to these commercial breaks, please don't leave the room. Stay on and look at some of the commercials we've got on this show and prior shows on the Jobs Initiative and on the OERB in general. Now, you guys, of course, I can be pretty biased about this since you're a sponsor on our show, but you guys put together some of the best commercial and most effective commercial advertising around.
Well, thank you.
How do you get that done?
Well, we decided early on when OERB was first formed that if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. And we're going to do it professional. And so we've been real picky about who does that production for us. And we've only had 2 different firms in our 12-year history produce our campaigns for us. We've won countless awards. I don't even know how many, a lot of awards. But it all comes down to, you know, we're Oklahomans, and we want to get a message out there that's important to people. And so we've worked hard at that. And also, if I could add something.
Can I be rude and interrupt and
yes,
tell you that we've got to get to a break? But when we come back, that'll be the first thing we do.
Okay.
It's always tough to tell your boss that he needs to let me take over, but I need to. We'll get to a break and be right back.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
And Blankenship has stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Leaving it 4th and 7 on the Tiger 46-yard line. 38 seconds on the clock. The Tigers have no choice but to go for it. Wiggins in to do the kicking. Here's the snap. And the kick is away.
RSM McGladrey. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. RSM McGladrey. In Oklahoma City, the phone number is 405-843-5311.
He's gonna score. Come on, baby. Go!
Satellite go out again?
Yeah, rain. But this is just as fun.
Don't live in satellite denial. Get the reliability you expect from Cox, your friend in the digital age.
The Cox Channel. More sports. More fans. More cheerleaders. More fun. Nobody does more local sports
and nobody does it better.
We're back on The Verdict, talking with Mike Terry and Jeremy Rich about jobs and other things going on in the oil field industry in Oklahoma. And as we broke, I apologized both before and during the break to Mike for interrupting him, but please go ahead and talk about the scholarship program.
Well, as Jeremy mentioned, the average age of an oil field worker is 54 years old. So somehow we know we've got to get the word to the younger people in this state that these jobs are out there and that they can get those. And on the professional side, you know, we have several of the largest oil and gas independent companies in the country right here in Oklahoma City. And all these companies need geologists and engineers and landmen and on and on and on. So we've developed a substantial scholarship program to help students that want those types of jobs get educated in our universities here in Oklahoma and then go to work and stay here in Oklahoma.
So high school junior or senior could make application after for a scholarship after graduation?
Yes. The scholarships range from $1,000 to $5,000 per year, and they're available for freshmen all the way through senior. Students that want to be engineers, petroleum geologists, and landmen qualify for those. And the way it's working right now, we have invested about $300,000 in this program. And
we being the OERB.
The OERB.
Right.
And those opportunities are at OU, OSU, and Tulsa. That's where those disciplines are taught. So the program is fairly new. The students are just getting those funds, and then not only do we want to help fund their needs at college, we also want to develop them, help them learn about the energy industry in Oklahoma. And so that when we think the more they know about what's going on here, the more they're going to stay here when they graduate. And that's what we're trying to do.
What's your goal insofar as number of students on scholarship at any given time? Do you have a top number that you'd shoot for?
Right now we look at about 20% of the students that are studying those disciplines.
Really?
We want to fund about 20% of those. Wow. And we do it proportionally so that no one university gets more than its share. So that's what we're trying to do. And who knows in the future, as more and more students get into those disciplines, you know, we will probably increase the amount of that funding because we want students to know that this is very important to our state and our industry.
Well, two great segments on the oil and gas industry so far. One is filling jobs out in the oil field, which these two gentlemen are doing through a cooperative program, and also the scholarship program of the OERB. Let's change the subject just a little bit.
Okay.
One thing that the oil and gas industry has always been involved in, but perhaps more so now than ever, and that's conservation.
Well,
what's your role in that?
We feel like that higher energy prices are going to be here at least for a while. Every indication is that you know, the price of energy is going to be higher than it's been in the last 10 or 15 years. So if you look at the supply side, then we're doing everything we can do. We're drilling wells, and that's really what you're talking about on the supply side. We're drilling wells as fast as we can drill them, you know, and again, it gets back to trained people, equipment, and we're doing everything we can there. On the other side of it, we need to do something that will help conserve the energy that we use every day. It impacts everybody, and we've got to change our thinking, the way we do things. And so conservation, we believe, is going to become something in the forefront. It needs to become something that's very important to all consumers in Oklahoma and around the country for that matter. So OERB has taken this on as very serious. And we are developing education programs that will reach as many people as we can, trying to teach them how to conserve energy. And I'm not just talking about in their homes, but also in their cars. So again, we've utilized our website, and we have tips on our website about simple, inexpensive ways that people can save energy. And if they will follow some of these tips, they can save 25 to 35% on their heating bills, their cooling bills, and as they drive their car, they can save money. We're also doing advertising. Again, we have 3 new ads on conservation, again showing easy things that people can do to save energy. It's got to become a higher priority in our lives.
Well, I think we'll see one of the commercials, or we'll see it or have seen it on this show, about weather stripping, and that's just one of the 3 you were talking about.
Right.
So you've got a balanced approach, guys, giving assistance on the supply side and giving assistance on the demand side as well.
Right, and we've got to do both. And so we're in a new era, I think, of energy. We've got to think of ways to do things more conservatively in everything we do.
And you've been working with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce?
Yes, we have. When we looked at the situation, we were trying to find a way to help Oklahomans, especially Oklahomans that are in need. And so we found out about the Department of Commerce's Weatherization Assistance Program. And it's been around for several years. It's just been a little underfunded. And what that program does is for low-income families that qualify and their homes qualify, then this program will bring in professionals that will go in their home and actually put into place new things that will help save them energy. And I'm talking about weather stripping, insulation, new windows, new doors, all the things that are so important in saving energy. And so the OERB announced just last November that we are going to give and have given $1 million to this program. Most of its funding comes from the U.S. Department of Energy. And we know the program works. It was just underfunded. And so with this $1 million, I think that boosts their amount of funding by about 1/3. Wow. So the average home, they spend about $3,000, in some cases more. So with this $1 million, that will help a number of Oklahomans.
Now, can Oklahomans get information about that program through the OERB website?
They can, but the best way is through the community action agencies. And those are in every county in the state. If they will call those agencies, then they can fill out an application to see if they qualify. If they qualify, then they'll be notified. Professionals will come out, do an energy audit in their home to determine the best ways they can save money, and then the funding will kick in to pay for whatever is needed to help weatherize their home.
We are out of time, gentlemen. I've got to extract a promise from both of you that you'll come back again, and let's carry this on. I know there's a lot more to talk about at OIPA, and OERB is always doing good things. 2 fine groups that are presenting a balanced approach to try to help Oklahoma. You're watching The Verdict. We'll be right back.
As someone who works in Oklahoma's oil and natural gas industry, I know how hard we're working to meet our current energy needs. But there are a few things all of us can do to reduce the amount of energy we use, starting right around the house. A tiny 1/16 inch gap between the door and frame is the same as leaving a window open 3 inches. A little weather stripping can help that. It's amazing how putting a little effort in can keep a lot of energy from getting out. For more energy-saving ideas, visit OERB.com.
This is a message for all you guys out there who aren't afraid of a little hard work. Right now, the oil and gas industry has over 700 job openings right here in Oklahoma. We're talking jobs with salaries from $20,000 to $60,000. Jobs with excellent benefits, flexible schedules, even free training. So check out oilfieldjobsok.com or call 877-655-5677 to find out about great opportunities for hard-working guys like you.
¿Eres tú?
There you go. Cox Communications está buscando empleados entusiásticos y motivados.
Disfruta de nuestros beneficios, pago competitivo, grandes ventajas y oportunidades para el adelante.
Si desea hacer una diferencia,
tenemos un lugar para usted aquí con Cox Communications.
Visítanos en la internet o llame para ver qué oportunidades tenemos para usted aquí en Cox.
¿Eres tú?
Cox Communications está orgulloso de ofrecer igualdad de empleos.
Not sure where you're headed? NATS can help you find your way. It's the National Athletic Testing System. We call it NATS. You'll call it your launching pad to success. NATS will give you a standardized evaluation that will help you measure your performance and give that information to college coaches so they can accurately evaluate your potential. NATS also helps with academic support. Join with the Oklahoma High School Football Coaches Association and head for success at www.nats.us.
Welcome back to The Verdict, Kent Myers. Our special thanks today to Jeremy Rich and Mike Terry discussing oil field activity, jobs initiatives, conservation initiatives, scholarship programs, a lot going on out in the oil patch that's very positive for us here in Oklahoma and sponsored mainly by those in the industry themselves, not through tax dollars or anything else, but contributions from those within the industry. I want to give you 4 websites. Of course, the first one I want to give you is ours, theverdict.tv. If you've got something you want to tell us about a show, please do so. We do pay attention to you. The next is the website for OERB. It's www.oerb.com. That's where you can get Mike and be in touch with him. The next is www.oipa.com. That's where you can get Jeremy and be in touch with him. And then finally, if you're interested in that jobs website, it's oilfieldjobsok.com. oilfieldjobsok.com. We hope this has been useful to you. I know it's been enjoyable for me to have these fine guests. We look forward to seeing you next week.
The preceding program was produced by the Production Services Group at Cox Communications, exclusively for the Cox Channel.